Hello and welcome. Today we're just going to move through a gentle stretching yoga practice. So it can be a great practice for if you're just waking up for the day and need to get some gentle movement in, or if you're trying to wind down and just bring some rest and relaxation to the body. And so we will begin in a seated position on the shins at the back of our mat. And we'll just take a few moments to let ourselves arrive. And so sitting on the shins, feet can be flat, or if you want a little bit of a stretch in the soles of the feet, the plantar fascia, you can tuck the toes underneath and get a little bit of a toe sit stretch. And just close the eyes down. Hands can rest on the thighs. And just begin to bring your attention to the breath. And just finding a steady breath. Seeing if you can relax the shoulders down, soften the muscles of the face. And just staying here for a few rounds of breath. Breathing in through the nose and either exhaling out the nose or mouth. And just a couple more times here as you settle in. Maybe setting an intention for your practice today. And if the eyes are closed, you can begin to open them. And same thing with the toes. If the toes are tucked under, maybe lengthen the feet back down. And we're going to lift the hips up and sit them over towards the right. And then plant the left hand down on the left side. And on an inhale, reach the right arm up overhead. And as you exhale, start to bend over towards the left. So getting a nice side body stretch here on the right side. And pausing here and just breathing into the right side body. Really reaching out of the right hip, right fingertips reach over towards the left, feeling a nice stretch. Good. One more big inhale here. And then exhale, begin to bring yourself back up to center as you release the arm down. And we'll do that on the other side. So planting the hands for stabilizers if needed. Lift the hips up and sit them over towards the left. Plant the right hand down and inhale the left arm up. And as you exhale, reaching over towards the right. Finding some length here on the left side body. Breathing deeply into the stretch. Seeing if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears. Good. One more inhale. And on your exhale, begin to lift yourself back up to the shins, releasing the arm down, and we'll meet in tabletop position. So planting the hands underneath the shoulders, hips over the knees, and we'll move into a figure eight. So Just warming up the wrists and moving your body in a figure 8 position. Or not position, but movement. And so finding a little bit of a sway, a slither in the body. And going a few times in one direction and then reversing it. So just starting to gently wake up the body. And then we'll meet in a neutral tabletop position after your last round. And on an inhale, drop the belly, gaze either straight ahead or up into cow. And then exhale, round the back, press the ground away into cat. Inhale, arch the back, belly drops, chest pulls forward into cow. And then exhale, round the back, tailbone drops, head drops into cat. A few more times like this with your breath. Soft bend in the elbows as you arch the back and pull the chest through into cow. And then exhale, round the back, chin drops towards the chest into cat. Twice more. Following your breath, letting it be threaded through each movement. Good. And then coming back into a neutral tabletop. Plant the left hand, and on your inhale, begin to lift the right hand up towards the sky, turning the chest open, and then exhale, thread the right arm through. So coming into thread the needle, resting the head down on the ground, and your option to keep the left hand where it is, or maybe walking it out towards the top of the mat. And just returning to the breath as you settle in. Good. Taking another full round of breath here. And then begin to walk the left hand back underneath the gaze if you extended it long, and press yourself back up to tabletop. And we'll do that on the other side. So keeping the right hand planted, inhale, peel the fingertips up, reaching towards the sky. And then exhale, begin to round the back as you thread the left arm through, resting your head on the mat. And your option to maybe fingertip the right hand out towards the top of the mat. And once more, coming back to the breath as you settle here. Breathing into the shoulder. Begin to walk the right hand back underneath the gaze if it's not already, and then press yourself back up, tabletop. We'll come into puppy pose, so begin to walk the hands out towards the top of the mat, and then we're going to begin to sink the chest down towards the ground. Doesn't have to touch, just going in that direction. And then option to rest the forehead or the chin down on the ground. So staying here for a few rounds of breath and finding what's available in your body today. Trying to keep the hips stacked over the knees and not dumping in the low back. Want to protect the low back. Fingertips reaching towards the top of the mat, maybe finding some intensity in the stretch as you reach the fingers. One more big breath in and out. Good. And we're going to come into Sphinx pose on the belly. So begin to slide or slither your way down onto the mat and resting the forearms down, finding a slight lift in the chest. Roll the shoulders down and back, chest opens into Sphinx. Almost pulling the heart center forward, gazing in front of you to find length in the back of the neck. And staying here for about 2 or 3 rounds of breath. Really pressing the legs down into the ground. And maybe energetically pulling the elbows back towards the hips as the hips reach towards the elbows. And seeing if that changes anything for you. Inhale fully. Exhale, release yourself down to the ground and we'll press back into tabletop. Good. We're going to find some hip circles with the right knee. So drawing a few circles with the right knee out. And then open up the knee and extend the right leg. And plant the right foot down. So keeping the right foot in alignment with the left knee. And we're just going to rock back and forth here. Might feel a nice stretch in the inner thigh. So maybe coordinating breath with this, exhaling as you sink back and inhaling as you rock forward. Feeling this in the wrists and the low body. Good. And the next time you rock forward, we'll begin to walk the right foot up towards the top of the mat, meeting in lizard pose. So hands are on the inside of the right foot, maybe lengthening the left leg back. Option for blocks here, to rest your hands on blocks to help you get settled into lizard. Breathing deeply here, finding some opening in the chest. And then exhale, begin to lengthen the front leg as you sit the hips back into half splits. So right foot is flexed. And we'll move through this a couple times with breath. Inhale, begin to bend the front knee as you shift forward into lizard. And then exhale, lengthen the leg, flex the foot as you come back into half splits. Twice more. Inhale, lizard. Exhale, hips go back into half splits. Once more. Inhale. And then exhale, we'll hold here for just a couple rounds of breath, maybe releasing the head down towards the mat. And really sending the breath to the right hamstring. Good. On your next inhale, begin to bend that right knee. And then we'll swing that right leg back to meet the left. And we'll do that on the other side. So planting the hands firmly. And then we'll begin to find some hip circles on the left side. Going counterclockwise. And then after a few rotations, just open up the hip, extend the left leg long, planting it down on the ground and checking that the foot is in alignment with the right knee. And then begin to find those rocks. So on an exhale, sitting the hips back towards the heel, and inhale, rocking forward, shoulders over wrists. A few times like this, feeling maybe a stretch in the inner left thigh. Good. Next time you inhale, come forward. We'll begin to walk that left foot up towards the top of the mat and find lizard on our left side. So hands are on the inside of the left foot, maybe etching that right leg back to find some length and more stretch in the hip flexors. Staying here. Chest reaches forward, finding some broadness in the collarbones. And then exhale, begin to lengthen that front leg, toes flex as the hips go back into Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. And weaving this with breath. Inhale, bend the knee into lizard. And exhale, lengthen into half splits. 2 or 3 more times like this. Inhaling into lizard. And exhale. Find a stretch in the hamstrings. Once more. Inhale, lizard. And then exhale, we'll hold. Keeping that left leg long, slight bend in the knee if needed, toes flexed, and maybe releasing the head down. Finding a steady breath. Good. And then on your next inhale, we'll bend that left knee. And then we'll bring that foot back around to meet the right. And then let's find a seat on the mat. So coming onto our booties. And then we'll bring the soles of the feet together, finding Baddha Konasana. So option to wrap the hands around the outside of the feet, roll the shoulders down and back, inhale, find length. And exhale, release yourself down and fold forward. An option to just release the head down. Chin can come towards the chest. You're finding some length in the back and in the back of the neck. Really opening up here in the hips and the back body. And on your next inhale, coming back up into center. And let's extend the left leg long. And we're going to cross the right foot over the left leg. And we're going to twist towards the left. So left fingertips come behind. Maybe the right elbow or tricep comes to the right leg to help support an opening up into a twist. And inhale, find length. Exhale, release into the twist. Good. One more big breath here. And out. Good. Inhale yourself back to center. Release the right leg long, cross the left foot over the right leg, and we'll rotate towards the right So right fingertips plant. Maybe the left elbow or tricep comes to the left leg. And just opening up the chest towards the right. Good. Pausing and returning to the breath. Good. And then releasing out of the twist. And we'll meet in Sukhasana in a seated position with the legs crossed. And we'll close out our practice today with just 3 rounds of breath. We'll breathe in for 3, hold at the top, and then exhale for 4. Oh, welcome to rest the hands on the thighs and close the eyes or soften the gaze down. Firmly rooting through both sit bones. And inhale through the nose for 3, 2, 1. Hold. And exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Inhale 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time. Inhale 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe just returning to a natural rhythmic breath. And if the eyes are closed, you can begin to open them. Thank you so much for your time and energy today. I hope you found some benefit of this practice. Leave a comment below, and I'd love to hear from you or things that you're interested in practicing. Thank you so much. Namaste.